Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. As you know, in YouTube now these days, there is this trend of a day in the life of a marketer, a designer, a developer. So I'm not a big fan of that trend. So I decided to, instead of doing a day in a life, which my life is very boring and basics, if I can be honest with you, I decided to share some sort of how I got into Next.js and React.js, hoping to give you a perspective or a broader view of a YouTuber or a programmer or a front-end developer's life beyond what you see on screen and this recorded screen in Visual Studio Code and all that stuff. So some time ago, I applied for internship, and remember, ever since I was done with varsity, I've got a diploma in software development. So ever since I was done with varsity, I have never worked for an IT company. So for the most part of my life, I've been a graphic designer. At least I know a thing or two about graphic design, both in printing and in digital space. Okay, so some time ago, I applied on an internship. It's a government organization here in South Africa. So I was like, okay, fine, let me just apply and test my luck. Okay, and then the organization came back to me and they asked for a technical interview, a technical round interview. Okay, so I thought it's just gonna be me and them. They will be asking me question, and I didn't know more about the internship and what it does and what I'm going to do there. So me, I just thought that since it's an internship, they know that you don't have the work experience. They will just call you in and give you work experience. Maybe you might fix cables and whatever. So even me, I didn't mind much because I wanted something to do. I wanted experience in the IT field. So then they came back to me via email to say, okay, I want you to attend a technical interview. Okay, I was like, I thought maybe they want to talk to me, and that's it. So the day came, and then obviously it was remotely. I think it was via Teams. Okay, so I attended that technical interview. So when I got there, the first thing that was surprising, it was a lot of people. Like I saw different screens there, so we were all muted. And then the other person addressed us that, okay, you are going to write a test. Writing a test was not a problem because at least I trust my knowledge and what I know. But now the shock was it's going to be C sharp, and I knew nothing about C sharp. Honestly, the closest thing that I know to C sharp is Visual Basic, knowing very well that it's far from C sharp. People who know C sharp, they told me that C sharp it's close to Java. It's Java like programming language. So I'm not sure at the moment which one came first, but the other one is a watered down version of the other. I would like to believe C language is the oldest, of which that's my belief. I might be wrong. So maybe Java is an improved version of C sharp. Okay. So in that interview, I wanted to quit immediately because I knew nothing about C sharp. But for some reason, something told me that, okay, at least get the experience, get the experience around it. Okay, that was fine. Okay, the time came and we started. Okay, then we were told that it's going to be a multiple choice question, and I was like, at least it's a multiple choice question. At least it's not like too technical where you will be given a code and you have to debug and run it because I'm clueless. Okay, so the time came and we were given the multiple choice question. So I went through the multiple choice question and I've answered all the questions. um to my surprise, when I was like some sort of answering the question, what I've noticed, remember in this channel I promote programming principle and practices than syntax. When I'm saying than syntax, than a specific programming language. So in simple terms, this is what I promote, this is what I'm a fan of and a firm believer of. You might not know a certain language, but if you know the programming practices, good programming practices, design pattern, solid principle, dry principle, and all other good programming practices around development, then I think you are on your way to becoming a better developer or positioning yourself for employment. Okay, so I wrote the test and I got 66%. Then somebody might ask, how do you get 66% whereas you don't know C sharp as a language? The reason why I've passed the test, it was because they were asking object oriented programming. And at least I'm knowledgeable about object oriented programming, even though my some sort of my primary field, my primary technical or programming field is it's PHP, or my programming language or my home base, it's PHP. I have been practicing OOP in PHP. So the questions there, even though the language was C sharp, but I've realized that object oriented programming, it's object oriented programming. Then again, good programming practices, the concepts are very important. So I've managed to write the test and I've passed the test. At least I got 66%, and I was good to go. Okay, so then again, I approached another company that does the music thing. They've got the music app. Okay, so I was like, let me just approach these guys and see if they don't have any space available. And then they said, look, we've got a space available. They gave me the test and I did the test on React.js and Tailwind CSS. And remember, also those things are the things that I started when they asked me to. The only thing that I knew closest to those things, it was CSS. Okay, since Tailwind CSS is more like a framework around CSS. And then React, I didn't know much about React before that. Okay, so to cut the story short, they saw my work and they saw everything that I do, and then we were good to go and we signed a contract. So now there was a tie between the two opportunities: the internship, the government organization, the internship, and also this new opportunity to become a front end developer, React front end developer. Okay, so it was some sort of a tie. So I had to make a choice. So obviously, the React.js opportunity was more favorable. Reason is, number one, I will work from home, I will work remotely. And then the other one, I have to move and relocate to. I have to relocate to Pretoria. Okay, sorry about that. I just had a small disturbance. So, for the internship, I had to relocate from Western Cape to Pretoria, which is too far. And also there, when I'm there, I will have to find a place to rent, and then there were some cost around that salary. But as compared to this one, which is the React.js opportunity, I was gonna work from home, so there was no cost and everything. So that's why the React JS opportunity was favorable. However, after I've signed the contract, the guys didn't really come back to me in a way. I've tried to contact them and they said, okay, we will come back to you. It was the first week, and I think this one is the second week. And I was like, ish, I think I've made a wrong decision here. Okay, so that started to play around with my mind a little bit, understandably so. Even me, I understood when it was like playing around my mind and emotion, because I had plans. Everyone, when they get an opportunity and when there's salary involved, obviously you see some possibilities. Minus one problem, minus one problem, minus one problem. And one of those was like, okay, now I'm going to improve my YouTube channel. I'm going to buy a camera, and then sound quality is going to improve. And then, I'm going to have a fast machine and all those things. So at some point that played around with my emotion, because the guys were just silent. Okay, I contacted them to say, okay, look, what's not necessarily, I didn't ask them what's happening, but I just told them that, okay, I'm ready, I'm waiting for them, and that was it. Okay, so that played around with my mind and my emotions. But however, the other guy came to rescue. There's a guy called Bashar in the internet. He's called Bashar. He's more like, what can I say, enlightenment and mind stuff and reality and thoughts becoming things. Okay, I'm a big fan of his. So he said circumstances, which is anything in life, Yawan, is just neutral based on your definition of what it is. It's either it destroys you or it makes you. That was a very profound concept. So I was like, okay, now let me change how I think, because I see that I've got a definition that doesn't work on my favor. So I need to some sort of change the definition, because I'm thinking about a lot of things, the things that are not going to happen. Remember, I think I went too far in assuming that they are not going to come back to me. So I have to change all those definition. It was like I'm doing a reverse engineering of my thought process, okay, from his own thought processes. Okay, my apologies for that. So what I'm trying to say is, based on your definition about anything, it's either whatever circumstance or the outside stimuli, it's either it's gonna make you or break you. So I've looked at the situation, even though it was some sort of portraying itself as I have lost an internship for a so-called UI job that didn't really become a solid thing. That's how it was presenting itself. But I've just decided to use that philosophy of circumstances as neutral, and then I have to bring and breathe life into them. So I was like, okay, if this is neutral, then how could I breathe something that will work against me? So my red definition led me to a conclusion, or to some sort of an undertaking, where I was like, before I met these guys, really, I thought I couldn't some sort of write anything when it comes to React JS, Next.js, and even Tailwind. Like it was things that I was always dodging. I didn't even take time. I knew that if I could master these things, at least I might position myself for employment, because when I'm looking at Google Jobs and LinkedIn, you can see that there are jobs for React JS. Okay, but I don't know, for some reason I really didn't have courage. To be honest, I thought it's too complicated for me, since I tried it long time ago and I was like, hey, React.js, it's a bit difficult. So I was like, before I met these guys, I really didn't think that I could do something. But now that I met them, some sort of they pushed me into a position where some sort of I felt like I could, or some sort of they pushed me into doing it. And when I've done it, I realized that, oh, I can do it. Hence, I started creating Google UI clone, and I'm learning like Next.js, React.js, and Tailwind CSS. So I gave myself a task now, because I'm redefining the circumstance so that it works for me instead of working against me. Okay, so I was like, okay, let me continue with a series of creating clones for some sort of popular websites. Obviously, I'm done with a Google UI clone. Now I'm planning to revisit Apple Music, and after that I'm planning to get into Spotify UI clone using Next.js, React.js, and Tailwind CSS. And then from there I'm going to go for Facebook, even WhatsApp, and what's this, Instagram. So I'm going to do those things. Obviously, we will see by month end if maybe the guys, they were busy, so they didn't have time to come back to me and address me, or maybe for some reason, let's say I was not the ideal candidate. Now that I have neutralized everything, none of those decisions are affecting me. So at least now I've got a tangible goal, and that goal is to make at least, let's say, 5 clones on Next.js, React.js, and Tailwind CSS. And then after those 5 clones, WhatsApp, Facebook, Google, and Instagram. So after those, at least I think by the end of this month, at least I will be a better React developer. And to me, that's meaningful and important. It works for me. It positions me for better opportunities instead of taking that circumstance as somebody who has lost a, what can I say, an internship opportunity for a React job which really didn't. Okay, so the takeaway from this video is that we as human beings, since I'm a developer, sometimes we are quick to define things the wrong way. Okay, sometimes opportunities present them to us, but we twist them and arrange them in such a way that will work against us. So I encourage you guys also to some sort of try these philosophies, like, and I'm just gonna give you some brief of some of these philosophies and the books that I have read. Number one, just make a research about the law of attraction. Okay, what it is and how your thoughts shape the world. Okay, obviously it's not easy to believe it just from it's not easy to just quickly believe it, because it's just a concept that thoughts become things. But just look at it. Okay, and also there is a book, Iron Will by Horace and Sweatmarden, and there's a book by James Allen. What's the name of that book? Hey, it's a very popular book, and I don't know why I forgot it. As a Man Thinketh. Okay, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And also Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And what else, which is the last one? I think also it's gonna be Horizon Sweatmarden. He Can Who Thinks He Can. He Can Who Thinks He Can by Horizon Sweatmarden. And also there is this guy, Neville Goddard. I'm gonna end this video with his some sort of quote. He says, an assumption, though false, if persisted therein, will harden into fact. Very profound. An assumption, though false, but if persisted therein, will harden into fact. There was a certain circumstance that presented itself to me as a missed opportunity, as some sort of a wrong choice, as some sort of something that I must like sort of continue my life regretting that I chose this side instead of this side. But now I had to some sort of make an assumption, even though maybe it might seem like it's false, but I am persisting on that assumption, and now it's becoming a fact. And what that fact is, by the end of this month, I'm going to be a better React developer. Obviously, the opportunity presented itself as if I've missed opportunity, but knowing very well that circumstances are just neutral. They make you or break you based on your own definitions about them. I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. I hope I have shed some light. I hope I have gave you some sort of a different aspect about things, since at this point in time you only hear my voice and you don't see the face and you don't have an idea of who this guy is. Now I've just decided to create this video to give you hope and to encourage you to push forward. I am also learning a lot of things. I'm not an expert. I make mistakes. So let's keep pushing. I'm so I'm like, I can't wait to hear you telling me that maybe you got a job from what I've taught you, or you just got a different perspective from everything that I do. If you can look at my channel, scroll to my first video, you will see that you will see that I was just a designer, not a UI developer. I was on the front end. I was just a designer. I had to make a choice, or I have to make a decision to be like, no man, since I've got a diploma in IT and I'm a designer, let me just combine those and become a front end developer. Okay. Obviously opportunities are presenting themselves. It's just that I have to, based on how I think, attract those that make sense to me. Otherwise, for me, Matthew Msingati, see you on the next one. I hope you have a good one.